Well, hello, 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 world. To absolutely nobody's surprise, John is not here yet. And actually, to my surprise, I am here because uh, I am here because this morning I woke up with a stomach bug, and so I'm very grateful to be here. The worst is past. I have my Gatorade, I have my saltine crackers. This is about all I've eaten all day. So we are going to do this, and it's going to be fun. And eventually, John is going to show up. For anybody who doesn't know John Ringo, who is a delightful person and very fun and entertaining, he has a thing with not showing up when and where he's supposed to. I got an email from him this morning confirming that he had the invite link and he was good to go. I got a thumbs up. That was my email from him. It was a thumbs up. So, as usual, he is not answering his email nor his phone. But I can always pretend to be John. That'll be fun. Sure, it won't come to that. He'll show up eventually, right? I did interviews with him where he was like 10 or 15 minutes late. And so we just chatted. So while we are waiting on our delightful co-author to show up, I was about to say co-host. I'm like, well, I guess he's a host. Yes, co-host. Well, hello. So let's see here. LV Shope. I can only read people's YouTube names, so feel free to add your actual name in there if you'd like to. Says hi Lydia, so hey there. And then Primmore6232, which might be Jane, says hang in there, girl. Good to see you, Jane. And we are going to have a good time. Before we get started, though, I just want to remind everybody who is either watching live or who tunes in after the fact that that is John and I, are having a joint signing. I worked so hard to organize it. So hard. Oh, yay. Tony Connor says, good afternoon from Australia. How cool that we can have people all around the world join us. Yay for technology. Some technology, anyway. Oh, Lindsay Van Sicklin. There we go. Hello, Lindsay. Good to see you. Yay, Jane. There's Jane. So anyway, we have a book signing next Saturday, February 7th, just north of Chattanooga, Georgia. It is going to be at Rev Coffee and Books, which is a delightful little bookstore. It also has like a little event space, and we are renting out the space from 3 to 7 p.m. So if you are anywhere near, or even if you're not near, I know some people are flying in from like California, which is pretty cool. But show up, hang out with us. There's going to be snacks. We're going to do some readings. I'm going to have some stuff to give away. I'll try to do like a trivia game or something, take pictures. Father John, ask him lots of questions, all the questions that we're not going to ask him tonight because he's MIA, but I am totally going to tear John a new one if he does not show up tonight and then shows up at his signing. We're all just going to look at him and be like, John, after he gave me a thumbs up at 6:49 this morning. So as recently as 6:49, he was alive and planning on being here. Hello, Grand Old Podcast says hello from Iowa. Hello. Very flat out there, I believe, in Iowa. You guys probably have lots of snow. There's about 6 inches here that we got last week. And Laura Bohr says hello. Hello, Laura Bohr. And Mona Eater, I hope I said that correct, says hello. Mona is definitely one of my big fans. I see her commenting all the time. It's great to see you guys. Let's see here. I'm going to take a second, excuse me, to hop over to my Facebook Live page and make sure that is working correctly. Because I see a bunch. Oh, there we go. There's from Facebook Live. Hi, Tim Birch. Tim Birch is Howie from Facebook. Good. I just want to make sure that the comment's working properly on Facebook. So there we go. And actually, I might even show, since John isn't here yet, show the comments live on the screen. So you guys can see everybody saying hi. And the Tony says you won't be in Chattanooga till LibertyCon. I can totally understand you not wanting to fly from Australia twice recently. Oh, there's Ed. Amateurs, he says, 8 foot 9 inches. Yes, you're right, Ed. We are amateurs down here in Kentucky. Ed, I believe, is from up north somewhere. So So there's a lot of snow, and I'm glad there's not that much because my almost 2-year-old is already having trouble just walking around in 6 inches. So at 18.9 inches, I think he's like 23 inches tall. So he would not do much. I love living in Kentucky in the sense that we get enough big snows. It's like fun and you enjoy it, and then it warms up and goes away. I wouldn't like living in the South for that reason because I really like snow. So I want it occasionally, but not too often. So I don't want to live in the North either. All right, let's see here. All right, so Facebook's working okay. Teresa Perkins says hi. Hi, Teresa. Michelle says hi. Excuse me while I check my phone again, make sure John hasn't texted me or something. We are going to continue with this AMA and ask me questions, and you guys can ask questions that you would ask John, and I can try to answer them. And I can make up answers for them, and it's his own fault that he's not here. Really, sincerely, I'm sure he's just having a technical issue. Like I said, he sent me this morning with a thumbs up. He has the link to get in, and maybe his computer's not working. Maybe he got the stomach bug too. You never know. So let's see here. Jane says, I'm just down the road near Evansville, Indiana. I got about a foot of snow. I kind of hope you would get a foot of snow. I think it'd be really fun for my 5- and 7-year-old. Not quite so fun for my 3-year-old who, yeah, a foot of snow is 1/3 of his body height. He would have struggled. Sorry about this. Ugh, grunge, whatever. Maybe I should mute my mic. There we go, that's better. A tale for when older. So Ed says the snow was over my shoulder. Well, that must be, I don't know, 5 feet of snow. So Michelle asks, just curious, are you still playing ocarina? Well, I still can play the ocarina. I don't do it much. Excuse me for a second. Oh, hello, Luna. My cat Luna has arrived. Hi, Luna. You come over here and say hi to everybody? Yeah, she's like, nope, I want you to feed me. Hey, Luna. She might come up and say hi. Excuse me. So let's see here. Yes, Michelle, I can still play the ocarina. I don't do it much anymore. I used to do it a lot more at conventions when I had a smaller table and less books and a lot more time to just sit around playing and kind of get, you know, an audience to come look at the table and the books by playing the ocarina. But now I usually have so many people at my table, I don't have a chance to stop and play ocarina. And it doesn't make me any money. And I only have time for eating in my family and feeding my family. So maybe someday I'll pick it up again. Let's see here. Terry says, can't wait to meet you in person, Chattanooga. Yay, me too. So Grand Old Podcast has asked a very good question. I believe you said you were from Iowa. He or she asks, have you ever eaten taco pizza? And unfortunately, no, I haven't. I would love to someday. So when I was doing research on like a place to set TD Hunter, you know, John and I had agreed that we would do something kind of Midwest and like flyover states. And so I was looking in like Arkansas and, you know, Missouri and Iowa and Idaho and like all those places. And Iowa, like I heard about taco pizza, and I'm like, what is this? Tacos on pizza? What is this wizardry? And so I started researching like the local food and stuff, and I just loved it. So I picked Cedar Rapids. That's one of the reasons I picked Cedar Rapids. And you know, I didn't want it in Des Moines because that was a bit too big, a bit too metropolitan, and so I went with Cedar Rapids. And it just so happened that Cedar Rapids has an amazing local pizza joint called Happy Joe's Pizza, which is awesome. And if you ever get the chance, you should go there. We actually thought about asking Happy Joe's if we could do a book signing for the 4th book release in Cedar Rapids at a Happy Joe's Pizza, but it just would have been too much time and expense to organize it, unfortunately. So maybe one day I can do a signing at Happy Joe's Pizza in Cedar Rapids. So that would be cool. So let's see here. That Luna's hiding by the door because she wants to be fed. Gadget's on my rug because it's soft. Hi, Gadget. You want to come say hi? Oh, hello there. Yeah, stretches. Stretches, stretches. Yeah. Here we go. All right. Here's Gadget. the floof queen herself. She is a shoulder cat. She just wants to be on my shoulder. She doesn't want to be on a lap, just my shoulder. Howdy from Central Texas is William. Hello, William. Good to hear from you. Yes, the majority of the time, you guys are definitely here for the feline overlords. I mean, I know who's important around here. It's not me. It's these guys. Here we go, Gadget. All your fans. So many fans. They just love you. She's like, nah, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. You better pet me or I'm leaving. Brian Cortland says hello. Oh, the kitty cat. Yes. Look, kitty, your fans love you. She's like, I don't care. Feed me, pet me. So yes, I have a third cat named Bastion, who is the butt munch. He and Gadget do not get along because he would like to be dominant, but he's about a decade younger than Gadget, and she's like, no. So they get into spats every now and then. Do you love those ear rubs? She's like, yes, I do. I love the ear rubs. Yeah. Hey, everybody. Yeah. You like that? I have these cool little platforms on the other side of my desk that my cats can sit on. They like pull out wooden boards. This is an antique desk. It used to belong to my great uncle who ran a wholesale grocery store in downtown Louisville. So yes, Michelle says, I can't believe you have kiddos now. Congratulations. Yes, I have 4 of them. 2018, 2020, 2022, and 2024. 4 kiddos. They are fun. So let's see here. Jane says, our old pastor from Iowa told us about his younger daughter being upset when they went back home. Where's the bunnies? She kept asking. No one could figure out what she was talking about. Oh, what did she mean? The bunnies? Was it pizza? I know, I guess we're going to find out. So Happy Joe's has a You Bake Shipped option. Wow, Happy Joe's opening in Tuscan. That's pretty amazing. Gosh, maybe Happy Joe's will come to Louisville. You never know. Okay, someone says Facebook seems to not be up yet. Okay, that's not good. So let me go ahead and hop over to Facebook and see what's going on there. John is not here yet. I'm going to try calling him again on the phone. And I'm absolutely going to tear him a new one if he does not show up. After all of these lovely people, John, showed up to talk to you. Yep, not a whisper. All right, so let's see what's going on with the Facebook Live. Okay. So I see the Facebook Live. It is going. People are commenting. Okay, Kathy Rouleau says hi. David says hi. Teresa says Casey's also has great taco pizza. All right, so it looks like it is live, but the question is, well, I think it's live in multiple, it should be streaming in multiple places. So, I thought it would be showing up at the top of my author, my professional author page. Past live videos, events, starting soon. Well, why isn't it starting now? I am live now. Well, that's frustrating. Okay, it seems like the software I'm using created a link to go live on Facebook, and it did not activate on my Facebook page. And so it is live, but it's like it's live on my personal profile, I think, and or possibly in my group, my Facebook group. Let me go see what's live in the Facebook group. No, I don't see it in the Facebook group. Okay, could someone share a link of where you're finding it live on Facebook? Just pop it in the comments and I'll pin it. Maybe, so that will help, maybe. All right, so let's see here. David's watching on Facebook. Teresa searched Lydia Sherrer and one of the results was the live stream. All right, Kathy kept searching Facebook and suddenly it showed, but not going through my page. Oh my gosh, Facebook is a language, Lydia, language. Hello, Mud Duck. Hello. So Mud Duck says howdy, Lydia. So anyway, Facebook is what it is. All right. So a part of me wonders if John just can't figure out how to click on a link, and a part of me wonders if he's dead in a ditch somewhere. That's always what happens. So here we go. Here you go, guys. John's not here. So this is his own fault. Working with John Ringo, collaborating with John Ringo, goes like this. You get a hold of him, you come up with a plan, right? Expectations. With lots of time involved, like months. Oh boy, so Mud Duck says, I'm the sheriff. I think that means that's Lester. Hey, Lester. And Ed says it's on my personal page. Yeah, Gwen says it's on my personal page as well. So, let me go check real quick. I'll get back to the story. Let me check real quick and make sure it's public. It should be public, but I just want to make sure it's not private. Yeah, okay, it's public. So anybody should be able to see it on my personal page, whether they are friends with me or not. I'm just going to share this link in the. I have one pinned. Okay, here is a link to it. Thank you, V.S. Simmons, also for sharing. I'm just going to star that, and hopefully it'll show up as well. I mean, people will find it. If people want to find it, they'll find it. So, anyway, still no sign of John, and so here we go. We're going to talk about John. You guys are going to get the whole 9 yards on John because he is not here to defend himself. So Ed asked, how do you handle the coordination with John? So anyway, John and I come up with a plan. Okay, all well and good. I execute the plan. I send John the results of the plan, and I hear nothing for a week, for 2 weeks, for a month. Send him a reminder. Another month passes. No sign of John. I talk to my publisher. My publisher tries to reach out to John. No sign of John. So finally, my last resort is I called John's PA, who is in charge of bringing him groceries to make sure he doesn't die. It's not really. It's really so he doesn't have to leave his house. He is indeed a hermit. And so I say, hey, could you check on John? Just make sure he's alive. Knock on his door. Be like, by the way, John, Lydia is waiting to hear from you. You know that project, the deadlines that you're getting paid for, that you have a contractual obligation to respond to? Remember that thing? So 3 months after I contact John with the completion of the plan that is now almost at its deadline, then he emails me. And why this happens is John's story to tell, and I will let John tell it if he ever feels like it. And he probably would if you asked him. Like he's pretty open book about his life. But yeah, that's what it's like collaborating with John Ringo. So let's see here. Kelly says the M&G is a great excuse to reread the series again. I'm sorry, my mom brain is blanking. I'm not sure what the M&G is. But Grand Old Podcast says, do you know when the audiobook for book 4 is supposed to come out? I wish I knew exactly. I do not. I have had it confirmed that the rights have been sold to Audible, which is good because Bain does their audiobooks exclusively through Audible. So there's no reason Audible wouldn't buy the rights because they've done the first 3, and those are great. So anyway, the contract has been signed. I'm going to follow up probably in a week or 2 and just ask the status on that. But Sarah, the narrator for the first 3, is totally on board with narrating the 4th, and she's just waiting for Audible to tell her, here you go, here's the contract. So we're just waiting on Audible because, big companies. Meet and greet. Kelly says M&G means meet and greet. Yeah, mom brain. I go to sleep between 2 and 3 a.m. most nights, and I get up at 8 a.m. So there's a reason that my memory is not that super great. Our spoilers are allowed here. So Tim Birch asked, are spoilers allowed here? So me and John had planned to keep it spoiler-free for book 4 because some people have read the early release ebook of book 4, but a lot of people haven't gotten to read it yet because they just pre-ordered the normal release, and the release isn't until next Tuesday. So spoilers for 1, 2, and 3 are okay, because if you're here and you have not read 1, 2, or 3 yet, well, then I guess it's on you. So Tim, yes, spoilers up through book 3, but not book 4 if you've read the early release of book 4. Ginger Princess Vlog says, hello, Jane's daughter here, adding to the count fun. Hello, Jane's daughter. It's nice to meet you. Yes, so much fun. It'd be more fun if John showed up. I'm checking my email again. Nope, no sign. Checking my text. Nope, no sign. So let's keep talking about John. So let's see here. Yes, Laura Boris says, I'm sorry for the mom sleep or lack thereof. I appreciate it. I'm a workaholic, and so I don't mind it. Like, I'm really tired sometimes, but I don't mind it. I like what I do, and I do what I do because I want to do it. But yes, it is tiring sometimes. All right, let's see here. Here's some questions. So let's see here. Sorry, who is the voice actress for the audiobook? Sarah Moeller Christensen, I believe is her name. She narrated the first 3, and she did a great job. The first person that Audible assigned to my book was a romance book narrator, and I'm like, no, thank you. I'm sure she's great, but her voice is not going to work for like a gritty, gamelit, high octane. No. So I went around and looking at a bunch of science fiction narrators, female narrators, especially ones who had narrated like some of David Weber's books and like some other just Bane authors. And I found Sarah and really liked her performance. And so I actually asked Audible if we could have Sarah Mullen Christensen. I can't remember. She has a hyphenated last name. And she was free and did it, and it was great, and I love it. And so she and I have emailed a few times, and she loves doing the TD Hunter books and had a great time for book 3 and can't wait to see book 4. Let's see here. Does Lynn get her knife back after the stalker attack? Sure, she does eventually. So the book series, so let's see here. She's attacked in April or May, somewhere around there, like April, May-ish. And the 4th book closes in like the fall, like mid-fall. So it's only 6 months. And if it's evidence of a assault, it most likely would be evidence for like a trial for years. So it would likely be years before she got it back. And yes, she should get it back eventually. I mean, usually items are returned, if at all possible. So yes, she should get the knife back eventually, but that wasn't something I could put in the book because it wasn't realistic to have it like on screen. So let's see here. Oh, Tim says, I've read it twice. Yes, you have, I'm sure. Curtis Gregory says, amazing woman, amazing literature. Well, thank you. I will assume that you're referring to me. Maybe you're referring to somebody else. Appreciate it. Benjamin says, your husband is awesome, just FYI. Yes, he is. Thank you, Benjamin. David's very awesome. He's actually watching right now down in the basement, so he might chime in here. And then, yes, to think I've known you, Mud Duck, my friend Lester. I've known you since you were roaming the lanes in Briarwood. Yes. So Lester and I know each other from the Eminence Renaissance Festival in Kentucky. And yes, I was roaming that thing when I was, I guess, 18, maybe, which is almost 15 years ago. No, more than 15 years ago. I'm old. Yes, so that's fun. And Lester was the sheriff, and so I would purposely antagonize him just so I could get put in the stocks because that's fun. Let's see here. So Kelly wants me to tell the story of how the series came about. So let's see here. Pokemon Go happened, and John is an incredibly brilliant and creative person. I absolutely love working with John when we actually get to work together. Don't love the huge long spaces of silence, like right now, John. You is not here, John. Still no email. I keep wondering if like he's trying to join, but his link isn't working. But there is no logical reason that he wouldn't just email me or text me. He has my email and my phone number and be like, hey, Lydia, I'm clicking on the link. Please let me in. Like, here I am. No, he's just not there. Even though he gave me a thumbs up at 6:49 this morning via email. Anywho, I want to rip him a new one next Saturday when I see him in person. Anyway, John got this idea when Pokemon Go, the app, came out. Oh my gosh, this is a comment by B.S. Simmons. A romance narrator doing Larry the Snake would be hilarious. Oh my gosh, it would be hilarious, but also ruin the rest of the book. So maybe like bloopers someday or something. But anyway, he had the idea of a book series about fighting monsters through like a smartphone, like the screen of a smartphone, where at Pokemon Go, you look at the screen and you can like switch it so you can see the landscape on the other side of the phone and you see the Pokemon superimposed there, augmented reality. That was one of the first like massively available augmented reality games. And it was super clunky and everything. It was back in 2014, 15, 16, somewhere around there. And so, yes, Ed, I am boomer shaming John. John is not here. He's had 26 minutes to get his act together. Yes, I'm boomer shaming you, John. Love you. So let's see here. He had this idea, and originally he was thinking about writing it with his daughters. It's like a fun, like father-daughter kind of thing. But from the way he told me in 2017 when he met me at LibertyCon 30, he said his daughters weren't really interested. They weren't really the writing type. And so he had just been looking around for All right. Can you guys still hear me? Hopefully. All right. Anyway, I have no idea what just happened, but if you guys can hear me, give me like a thumbs up. Or a thumbs up. I'm such an idiot. Put in the comments if you can hear me. I just saw that my microphone was muted, and I guess I muted the wrong microphone. Okay, yes, voice is back. Yay. Okay. Gosh, technology, guys. Mom brain, stomach bug this morning. The fact that I'm here is a miracle. And so here we go. We're going to have fun. Yes. So anyway, because I don't know what you guys missed, Pokemon Go came out, the app. John thought it was fascinating. He thought it would be a great idea to write a book about fighting monsters through augmented reality. Except the monsters were real. You just couldn't see them. They were invisible. He wanted to write it with his daughters. They weren't interested in writing it with him because they weren't really writing types. And so he was just looking around for a female YA author to write Lynn's voice because he, as he told me, his words, not mine, he is a grumpy old man. And so he didn't think he could do justice to Lynn Raven's voice in the book series. And so he also mentioned something about how many years it's been since he was in high school. And to be fair, it's been a little while since I've been in high school too, but I've definitely been in high school more recently than John Ringo. So he found me at LibertyCon 30 in 2017. Oh yeah, Tim Birch says John Ringo was writing about T.D. Hunter and the Bain Bar back in the day. Yeah. So he probably had a couple years there where he was talking about it and thinking about it and iterating on it and stuff. And he had written about 35,000 words of just the beginning of the first book. That was like an idea he threw out there. So John is Larry. Yes, sometimes. Except John, I don't think games as much as Larry does. He met me at LibertyCon. My husband does what my husband does. David is my husband, and he's very good at marketing and very good at selling stuff. And so he had no idea who John Ringo was, just random guy in a kilt smoking in the smoking area. And so he just started talking to John about how amazing his wife was, about how amazing his USA Today bestselling wife, indie author wife was. And so I guess I got on John Ringo's radar that way. And John Ringo came on my table a couple times that weekend. And I tried not to faint and fall over because I have been reading John Ringo books since I was 14, not Ghost, guys. I swear I didn't read Ghost until I was in my 30s, but I was reading other John Ringo books when I was 14. And so I am a huge John Ringo fan. And so him coming to my table and like picking up my books and be like, oh, not bad. I was like, oh, John Ringo said my books weren't bad. So then on Sunday, the end of the convention, right? There's like a smoking patio outside it's all on one floor. It was at the Choo Choo, which is a hotel in Chattanooga. And it was all one floor. There was like a smoking patio with a low stone wall outside of it, outside the like hallway. And it was so hot outside, like the condensation was running down the windows. But John went out all the time because he's a smoker. And so he would go smoke out on the patio.
in his guilt. And so he's like, hey, Lydia, I need to talk to you. I'm like, oh no, what did I do? So both John and I are former military, and in the military, it's praise publicly and rip them a new one privately. And so I thought, oh no, like I have done something wrong, and now he's going to take me aside and berate me for the stupid thing that I did as like a newbie, pro author here at LibertyCon. Because my brain always goes there when someone's like, we need to talk. I'm like, oh no, what did I do? So he pulls me out to the smoking patio, and we both sit down on the low wall. He rearranges his kilt, and he starts talking about how he had this book idea that he wanted to write with his daughters. And I'm like, where is this going? What's happening? I'm so confused. Why am I here? And it took me probably 15 minutes before I finally realized that he was trying to ask me to write a book with him. And so finally, he actually just came out and asked it. And I was inside, screaming and jumping up and down, all that good stuff. And so, yes, he did finally straight out and say it. And I'm like, yes, I would be interested in writing a book with you. Thank you for thinking of me. And so I tried not to go all fangirl on him, which I did manage to do, I think, hopefully. I think he is occasionally embarrassed to be seen with me because I'm so enthusiastic and loud about everything. But get over it, John. I wrote a book series with you. I made you money. You can get over it. It is now 9:32. John is 32 minutes late. He has still not emailed me, and he has still not texted me. He has my phone number. He has my email. He responded to my email this morning and gave me a thumbs up. Said he would be here. Well, I think I'm going to make John sign 400 books on next Saturday. That is going to be his penance. John is I have 100 copies of each of the 4 hardbacks. He's going to sign all 400 of them, and he's just going to do it because he did not show up at this Ask Me Anything. And then hopefully I'll be able to put those books in 4 hardback signed by Lydia and John up on my website, hopefully. Fingers crossed. It won't be 100 because people will buy them while they're there, but whatever's left over, I'll try to put on my website. I said, yes, please. I would be interested in this. I went inside and was immediately mobbed by people who'd been watching us through the window. They're like, John just asked you to write a book with him, didn't he? Fresh meat. Everybody was really excited. It was fun. And I was this newbie, clueless author, had no idea what was going on, had no idea that John regularly, hunts down new co-authors, fresh meat, all that good stuff. It was fun. It was fun. Looking back, it's a very fond memory of mine. So John sent me the 35,000 or so words that he'd written. I read it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. But Tony Weisskopf said no. And Tony Weisskopf said no because John still had outstanding contracts that he had not yet fulfilled with Baen. And so Tony's like, no, I'm not giving you another contract. Finish the ones that we've already paid you for. And I'm only saying this because John is not here. John should have showed up. And John, if you didn't show up because your computer died and you're totally sorry, then I'm sorry. Kind of, not really. You'll survive. So, Tony said no at that time. And so we just kind of sat on it for a couple years. We even toyed around self-publishing it at one point, which, it would have been okay, but I don't think we could have done it justice or as much of a justice as Baen Books has done. Baen's done a really good job with it. Really great cover artists. I love working with Baen. Tony's amazing. So finally, he got to talk to Tony again after I told him, yeah, we could try self-publishing it. And he probably went to Tony and said, hey, if you don't want this, we're going to self-publish it. And Tony was probably finding okay, if Lydia's doing the work, if Lydia's driving the train, if Lydia's making sure it gets done, John, then yes. So I had a 3-book contract handed to me at the end of 2019, and the rest is history. And yes, there is a 4th book. It's a Baen trilogy. Stop teasing me about it. I tried to make it 3 books, but I handed the 2nd book manuscript into John, and he's like, Lydia. This is not 1 book. This is 2 books. I'm like, no, it's 3 books. No, this is 2 books. Sorry, the whole series would be 3 books. Nope, this book is 2 books. We're splitting it. It's going to be 4. Oh, well. I tried to make it a trilogy. I tried to stick to my guns. I'm sure you're all very happy, though, that there's 4 books instead of 3. And I'm happy to, now that I'm past it, now that I am no longer in the trenches. I loved writing those books, but man, John, I love you. Love you, John. So let's see. Let me get back to some questions. No, Ed, John is not in another time zone. He is, well, he's in Chattanooga. Chattanooga is Eastern, right? I'm 99.99% sure that Chattanooga is in Eastern time zone. So no. Yes, B.S. Simmons says, Tony is a tough bird. Tony is amazing. Yeah, Kelly said, nope, he's EST. So let's see here. I'm going to scroll back and see if I miss any questions. Could he have thought that I meant 9 a.m.? I mean, Benjamin says no, probably not. He's not usually awake at 9 a.m. He's usually asleep. He sleeps during the day and is awake during the night, mostly. No, John's excuse is not time zone difference. Sorry about it. He does not have that excuse. And again, like, I would think that it's my fault that I'm having a technical glitch and he's there like tapping on the join link and is not being let in. Because, you know, when you're doing like multiple people in, you know, like Zoom or whatever it is, you know, they click join and you have to accept them to bring them into the studio. Well, I'm not seeing anything, and he can email me and text me and call me on the phone right here. Call me on the phone. He is not. Hopefully he's not sick, and hopefully he's not dead in a ditch, because I frequently wonder those things when he does not respond to me for weeks upon weeks upon weeks at a time. So there have been times when I haven't heard from him for months, and he was very sick. He is not super young. So we'll have a little bit of grace, John, and also rib you mercilessly. Let's see here. He had to use a pink in pen. This is John K. Patterson. So Ginger says, what branch of the military were you in? Well, so I want to be very clear. I don't want to, like, stolen valor is a very big thing to me, and I want to make sure I don't misrepresent myself. I was in United States Marine Corps ROTC training, and I left the training right before commissioning as a second lieutenant. I voluntarily left the training for a couple reasons. That was around the time they were starting to put women in combat in the Marines, like in infantry combat roles. And I was not okay with that, both like professionally and also religiously. And so because of a variety of reasons, I would have been terrible. Like, I love the military so much and I support it so much and I'm very patriotic, but I am also an artiste. I'm an artist. I'm a very, very square peg that would not have fit in the round hole. So it was a good thing for my life and for the military, probably, that I did not go in. But I went through the training, years of it. And so I feel a very strong connection to the military. And I have some of that military experience just through, like, I went through OCS at Quantico. And I crawled through the mud and the 2-foot deep water and full kit and, holding my gun above my head, and crawled across rivers on ropes. And, I did all the things. But I voluntarily left the program before commissioning and paid them back every cent that they paid for my college. And still wish that I could serve in the military, but it's just not, I'm not a good fit. Too old now anyway. But so Marine Corps was my branch. And John was in the 802nd Airborne, I believe. So anyway. So Curtis Gregory says, big shout out for the Silver Hand Guild, please. I'm very sorry. I'm going to blame Mom Brain. Silver Hand Guild? Please enlighten me. I apologize if I'm not remembering something that I should remember. Yes, Teresa said, you're completing a John Ringo series. Yes, I am, John. Stick it to you. I'm completing your series whether you like it or not. Yes, Kelly says I was bouncing during the closing ceremony. Yes, there were many bounces happening. What do you think of Hogwarts houses for some of your main characters in TD Hunter? Ooh, that's a good question. A nice little crossover question between my urban fantasy Lily Singer adventures and TD Hunter. Mud Duck says, retired Coast Guard here. Thank you for your service. Appreciate it. So let's see here. Lynn would probably be a mix of Slytherin and Ravenclaw, I feel like. She definitely wouldn't be Gryffindor. She's not really Hufflepuff. I feel like she'd probably be Slytherin and Gryffindor. Let's see here. Edgar is 100% Hufflepuff. Like, all the way Hufflepuff. Edgar is the biggest, softest, squishiest Hufflepuff you ever did see. Adorable. Let's see here. Ronnie. That's tougher because I kind of would say Gryffindor because he just has that like main character. He thinks he's the main character of everything, and he is brave. Like he's not intimidated by things. So maybe Gryffindor with a pretty big slice of Slytherin, maybe because he's ambitious. Not Ravenclaw, not Hufflepuff. Let's hear Dan. Dan. I feel like Dan is a mix of Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff. Dan is a sweetheart. Like, you just have to get him to stop talking about gaming technical stuff. Dan is a sweetheart. So I'd probably say Dan was a half Hufflepuff, half Ravenclaw. And then Mac. Mac is a pretty big Hufflepuff too. I'd probably say Mac was. I feel like Mac is definitely Hufflepuff. Maybe Edgar has a bit of Gryffindor in him. Maybe Edgar is half Hufflepuff and half Gryffindor. Yeah. Edgar and Mac both have big Hufflepuff streaks in them, but I think Edgar probably has some Gryffindor in them because Mac is much more like he's just there for his friends. He's just there to help them to, help them win, to help them have fun, like to participate in the fun with them. He's not ambitious at all. So I'm being told that Silver Hand is my husband David's WoW guild, which apparently one of these guys is in. Let's see here. Apparently Curtis Gregory is in the same guild as my husband David is. So anyway, Tim Birch says, I remember Edgar knowing about Larry. You're correct. Edgar does know about Larry, but he doesn't really tell Lynn that. Let's see here. I recall a side story where Edgar tells Lynn he knows she's Larry, and I can't find out my files. Was I dreaming? Maybe? I don't think I ever wrote a short story where Edgar So what you're probably thinking of is what's it called? It's a free short story on Bane. Let me look it up real quick and I'll drop the link in. Bane. Where are their short stories though? It's called, all right, let me pull up my files and see what it's called because I'll be able to find it then. Short stories. It's called Lethal Cheer. There we go. Lethal Cheer. Lethal-cheer. .html maybe? All right, let me look up Lethal Cheer Bane books. That should pull it up. Yes. Oh, it was an underscore. I forgot the underscore. Okay, here we go. Let me put this in the comments. So there's the link to Lethal Cheer. So in Lethal Cheer, it's told from Edgar's point of view. It is during Christmas time. So this would have been in the second book. And Edgar, and they're doing a, playing on a Warmonger just to kind of hang out and relax. And Lynn is playing Larry off at her house somewhere completely separate from them, and gets invited in to play the game, into the match that they're playing. And so Larry ends up teaming up with the Baconville Bashers, which is Ronnie, Mac, Dan, and Edgar, to help them complete the mission because they're on the same team. Larry's being paid to make sure that team wins, Larry being Lynn. And so Edgar, in that short story, thinks about how he knows that Lynn is Larry, but he's not going to tell her that. So that's probably what you're thinking of. So yes, there's the link. It's free to read. Definitely go read it if you have not read it before. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Let's see here. What else do we have? Question about self-publishing. My wife wants to get her stories out into the public. Says Big C 1987. I'm not sure what your question is about self-publishing, Big C 1987, just based off of that, because there's not really a question in there. But if you have a specific question, I would be happy to answer that. Self-publishing is very difficult. It's as difficult as you are ambitious. If you have very low expectations, then it's not very difficult. John has joined! Add to the stream! John, you're here!
What time is it supposed to be?
Yes,
10
9
o'clock,
o'clock.
right?
You're an hour off, John.
I could have sworn it was 10 o'clock.
Well, it says in the email 9.
No, because you sent me an email today that said 9:45.
No, I'm pretty sure it said 8:45. pretty sure. All right, so John, we've been smack talking you, and so now I'll take all of that back because you're here. We'll be super, super nice to you now. But
Okay.
no, I'm going to confirm that it said 8:45 because you're right. If I said 9:45, I will take full responsibility for you being late. But I'm pretty sure it said 8.
8:45.
See,
You're right.
8:45. I was right. It's okay. You're here now. That's all that matters. Now it just means that our live stream can go on even longer. John, your camera is just showing like a bit. Your face is like way down here. Can you angle it down a little bit at all to show more of your?
Yeah,
face?
hang on just a sec.
Okay, there we go. There's also something over the top of it, like a piece of paper. Is that supposed to be that way?
No.
There we go. Yay!
Yay.
Hi, John. It's good to
Hi.
see you.
Beard and
So,
all.
guys, this is John's cinderblock basement gulag prison that he lives in.
Yep.
If you ever want to know what John is doing, he's sitting in the cinderblock prison. He's being imprisoned by somebody. We don't know who is imprisoning him.
It's my South American prison cell. It is.
Yes. Alrighty, so let's see here. I was answering questions. Yay! What's the name of the
new book? What is the name of the new book?
I think it's Beyond the Rift. I assume is what she's talking about. So Beyond the Rift is book 4. B.S. Simmons says promote cat magic. It's super fun to play. It is, but it has no relation to TD Hunter. But if you want to hear about it or if you want to learn about it, just go to store.lydiasherrer.com. You can read about it there. Yay! John is in the bunker. He's alive! Alive! All right. So
I have a watch or two.
Ed's ribbing you about being late.
I thought it was 10. Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. You're here. That's all that matters. So
I 200.
Don't ever go back and watch the first 45 minutes of this live stream, John.
No, I don't care.
That's good.
Honestly, I'm proud to be here.
Yay, John.
The fact that I am awake.
Oh, yes. We are so proud of you being here. We want you here. Absolutely. So Tim Birch had a John
What were some of the
question.
questions? Because I can't seem to get this thing to scroll.
No, it's fine. I will take care of asking the questions. I'm like keeping an eye on it. And I've got a couple saved up that people were asking for you whenever you showed up. So John Ringo question. Oh, Tim Birch says, did you read that book that Tim Birch gave you, The Craft of Power by R.G.H. Sue? Rare book I have seen for $800. Not sure if you know what that means, John.
Me?
Yeah.
I thought that.
A person named Tim Birch said that he gave you a book, The Craft of Power by R.G.H.S. Last name is spelled S-I-U. Sue? I guess it's Asian.
Okay.
Tim, I think the answer is no. So.
When did you give it to me?
I don't know. We'll see if Tim Birch pops in and explains a little bit more about that question. Let's see here. Ron Stevens says, John is a wizard. They arrive when they're needed. Well, we needed him earlier, but I think it's more like they arrive when they want to, precisely when they need
me. Lydia, you can talk solidly for an hour. I have been on the phone with you.
Excuse me.
You can talk without a pause for an hour. The only person I have ever met who can talk more solidly for longer than you is David freaking Weber.
Weber, yeah, David Weber. No, John, I don't think you hear yourself on the No Shit There I Was panels. You totally dominate them and tell great stories, and everybody's happy. They're just like, let's just let John talk. Like, yeah.
Oh no, the No Shit There I Was stories, like those are like Law Dog and Mike Massa dominate those. It's killing characters for fun and profit where I really dominate.
Yes,
because killing characters is kind of my specialty.
Yes. It is. So that was one of the questions. Well, that was one of the questions.
I killed 126 named characters in a single, not particularly long book.
Which book was that?
Because I was trying to outdo David Drake. And I didn't quite do it, in my opinion. But I was trying really hard in Claws That Catch to outdo David Drake's Redliners. And I don't think I really did it.
Yeah. So I have a question for you, John, that I was saving up. What is your favorite way to destroy the universe in all the universes you have destroyed?
Question for John. New York Fire Department no longer exists, but it existed in 2012. Haha.
Haha. That's the important part. So, Destroyer of Worlds, John. What's been your favorite destruction of the world that you've done? Was it Black Tide Rising?
No, it was Post Lane.
Really?
Yeah, Posleen remains my favorite world-destroying event. Black Tide Rising was originally going to be a Carrington event book, and I ideated a lot about the Carrington event book and realized it was going to be too grim.
Yeah.
So wiping out 95% of the population of the world with zombies was better than a Carrington event, because a Carrington event would be worse.
Yep. I agree with Teresa Perkins. I too am salty about Costas being killed.
Oh,
Why
so
did
am
you
I.
kill Costas? Why did you kill Costas?
No, I am still salty about that one.
Why? So why?
Had to be done.
Yes. That
Roger
is the same thing I tell people.
had to lose all of his father figures.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that he could be a truly independent character.
Yep. I am way more salty about Ponder dying. Way more salty.
Yeah, I was really salty about Ponder dying as well, but it had to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
That wasn't even David Weber saying that. It was just dramatically it had to happen. Yeah. The truth is, Ponder would have survived that. I mean, the actual Ponder would have survived.
Yeah.
Because Ponder was just that good.
Yeah.
But for dramatic, the only reasons that Ponder died was dramatic reasons. The only reasons that Papa O'Neill died was dramatic reasons. You know, I have lost the heart for killing my characters, to tell you the truth. Take a look at Black Tide Rising. Name one named character who died. There was one named character who died.
There wasn't a lot. Yeah, I'll give you that for sure.
And it's actually one of the weaknesses of my writing now, is that
I don't know.
What you need to do is you need to build character capital, and then and you use that character capital carefully. Like if you can build a little bit of character capital into somebody, and then kill them, and that makes the situation real. But when you've built up a lot of character capital, then when the character dies, it's that much more emotional. So Costas, Ponder, Papa O'Neill, the one that's based on Sandy Hearn. But the characters that I've killed over the years, that it's like you've gotten really attached to the character and then you kill the character. Yeah. That is the dramatic moment. You know, that really seals the deal. Yeah. And I just don't want to do it anymore, because I get as attached to those characters as you do, if not more so.
Yeah. So do you have any thoughts on George R.R. Martin's style then, with how many characters he kills so regularly? Have you read any of the books?
Martin originally started to do the 100 Years' War as a fantasy. And so a lot of the early deaths were just, that was the 100 Years' War. That's the way it was. And after a while, he just got taken up by it. He got caught by what I call Steve Sterling syndrome.
What's that?
Back in the 90s, when Sterling was still writing with Bain, they would attach female writers with Steve Sterling to try to keep him from doing the obligatory rape scene at the end of chapter 1. And that basically, Martin went into the whole Steve Sterling thing. And it's like, it's not really necessary. But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Are we going to get any more Black Tide Rising Kildara crossover?
I would like to. I wrote myself into a corner, and because I'd actually put it out there, I don't know how to resolve a tactical problem.
You could just rewrite it, John. It's your Substack.
Well, I could back up and I could have them go a different direction, and I could just like wipe a complete, a whole section out.
Yeah, just do it, John.
I also misread a map. I had forgotten where the Valley of the Kildara was. And so their destination is too far away. But the main problem is, if you look at the dam that they've come up to, they have to assault from both directions with the infantry, down both roads. And getting there, like moving around, because of this enormous freaking ditch that I didn't realize that was there when I was writing it. Because usually I ideate for years and years and years and look at all sorts of things and figure out all sorts of stuff until I finally have like the perfect, this is how it would work. I understand it exactly. And because I was kind of doing that off by the seat of my pants, I hit this situation and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So that's kind of what has had me
Yep.
stuck for months. And one of the things that, it's like, okay, well, I'll just skip all of it and just say, wow, that was really difficult. And now they've got everybody there and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't work for me realistically. And I'm stuck.
Yep.
It's
what
like
was the hard?
the Not That Kind of Good Guy universe, for which we still don't have a good universe name.
Okay.
I think there is a series name, but like nobody can remember it.
Yeah.
It's like John Wick, the John Wick movie was supposed to be called Scourge. And when Keanu Reeves was promoting it, he could never remember the name. So he just called it the John Wick movie.
Of course,
it's John
Wick.
Wick.
Character.
They changed the title. But with the Not That Kind of Good Guy universe, now that they're into the storm, I had ideated a really, really destructive thing. And I decided that I didn't want to destroy the world. So now I'm having to figure out how not to destroy the world while still having it.
Well, that's interesting.
A lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
And because I don't have the headspace to just focus on that, because the characters just really aren't talking to me that much anymore. I have like one scene, which is like Sasha finally gets to be the hero. Because she she's the one who goes rogue and goes and does something that she's not supposed to do, and it turns out it actually works, which if I actually write it, you actually get to that, you go, oh, so this is going to work, so there goes the fucking tension, because spoilers. But that's like the only scene that I have.
Well, just to catch up real quick, a couple of people, like Kelly said, you can write whatever you want. The Substack is your playground. Just back up and fix whatever you need to. And Teresa says, we will accept a rewrite. One of my favorite things about many of your series is the way you write the battle scenes. So I'm pretty sure whatever you want to write, John, people are just going to enjoy. Also, Grand Old Podcast says, what do you think about rubber ducks? Is that a threat? Are you like threatening to mail us rubber duckies? Because I saw that prank.
I actually did a rubber duck giveaway one time at a con. It was a market.
Oh, yeah? What kind of rubber ducks? Were they like special rubber ducks?
No, they were little tiny rubber ducks that had like something put on their butts that kept falling off.
Okay.
Because that was a Miriam thing.
Oh, okay.
She used to collect little devil ducks.
Yeah. Well, apparently John likes rubber ducks, to answer your all's question. I am ambivalent toward them. I have a couple people who have given me over the years, and the cats usually get a hold of them and start eating them. So, John, what was the hardest book you've ever written?
Hardest book in what? As in the most difficult as in technically the most difficult to write, as in it was the hardest one to put together, or the hardest one to write from a dramatic perspective?
I mean, I'd say whichever one of those applies. When you think in your memory, like, oh man, that book, I really struggled with that one. Whatever the struggle was. Do you have a book that stands out in your memory as I really struggled to get this out?
Like the most crash dummy book that I ever had. No, I won't talk about that, because the most difficult to write book from a technical perspective, it was not difficult to write from a personal perspective, but it was difficult technically, were When the Devil Dances and Hell's Fair.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason they was because I'd created so many characters, and it was like Avengers. All these characters had to have screen time, and they had to fit together in a schedule. And so I had like massive Excel spreadsheets of the timing of everything that had to happen, and so that I could fit it all together. So those were the technically most difficult ones to write. Especially Hell's Fair.
Have you ever thought about returning?
Was the most crash test dummy was Sister Time.
Ooh, which one is that? Is that one of the?
That was one of the Callie's War spinoffs.
Yeah, the Callies. Yeah, the Callie ones. And all of those.
It got way down to like it had to go to the printer in a week.
Yeah.
And I had to do a rewrite on it. that I pulled out 75,000 words and wrote 65,000 words in a week.
Yeah. And you co-authored all those with Julie Cochran, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the one that was the hardest to write for me was not The Killing of Ponner. The scene that was the hardest to write for me was The Killing of Rastar.
Interesting.
We Few was emotionally the hardest one for me to write.
Yeah.
The hardest
Luna
one
has
for
a
me,
lap now.
the hardest series for me to stop writing was Black Tide. And I wrote the
stories
first
about how
three
Miriam
books.
ordered you to never end another series after that, right?
Yes, I was never allowed to end a series after that one. Miriam said I'm never allowed to end a series ever again. But I wrote the first 3 books, and then I loved the series so much I just really needed to write another book. And when I wrote the 4th one, Strands of Sorrow.
Strands of Sorrow, I think, is the 4th one. I can double check.
Yeah, Islands of Rage and Hope, Strands of Sorrow. When I finished Strands of Sorrow, I realized that I was finished with the Wolf Squadron story.
Yeah.
The story of Wolf Squadron was over. And I just mourned for like 3 months. I was just utterly depressed. I was in mourning because I knew that I just didn't have that period anymore.
You didn't have that world to escape into anymore.
I didn't have that world to escape to anymore.
Yeah.
And I really loved the Black Tide books.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite series of yours after the collaboration with David Weber. The Prince Roger series is my all-time favorite series of yours.
Yeah, Prince Roger is super popular with a lot of people.
It was really well done. I mean, it's like the best of both worlds. It's the best of what we get from David with you kind of holding back his vices, and then the best of what we get from you with him kind of holding back your vices. I feel like we got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, reasonable.
Yeah.
No, they are very good books. I went back and reread them a while back around 2010, and I came walking into the living room with We Few in my hand, and I'm like, God damn these authors! What the hell do they do, leaving us on a cliffhanger like this?
I know,
Roger
John!
made promises. There should be more books in this series. God damn these people! About, So I did. I actually sat down and I wrote an outline of the next book. I didn't write an outline. I wrote chunks of the next book. And Weber was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not going back to the universe anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's his universe. So
yeah, I get it. Well, I mean, there's always the possibility that whenever it does happen that David Weber passes, whatever his estate decides to do with those rights, I mean, there could be other authors who pick up the banner.
I think at this point that universe is probably done.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, and it's something that I would, if David and I ever got together, like at LibertyCon or something, the universe itself is no more MHI. No more MHI. The universe itself is a very good. It's a very good sandbox.
Yeah.
David wrote a very good sandbox in that universe, which you don't really get to see within those books because you're, 3 books, you're on Marduk.
Yep.
And then with just a couple of other planets, you're on Earth for most of We Few.
Yeah. So it's not like Honor Harrington where they get to explore one end to the other. The universe
is actually a very good sandbox. The other sandbox that I have considered playing in, and I probably never will, is the H.B. Piper Tarot Human Empire sandbox. And I've never actually written an H.B. Piper book. But if there's one universe that I would like to play in as a sandbox, it would be H.B. Piper, because he had so many fantastic worlds, not like super bizarre worlds. They're just interesting. Plans, yes. Likely to ever write a book? No. And it's like, I've tried to explain this dozens and dozens of times before. Aldous Budrus wrote a very good essay about writing, which talks about the bit bucket. And what happens is you have ideas, information comes in, your brain processes it, and a writer gets ideas. And they have an idea bucket. And the ideas come out at a certain rate. And they fill up the idea bucket until you have the ideas for a story, right? And you might have different little buckets here and there that fill with different ideas for different stories. But the problem is that after you've written as much as I have, and as you get older, the bucket doesn't fill as much. And I personally have the problem that I recognize as being a huge problem for you, for me, for everyone involved in this, that I like new stuff. And if I don't get a lot of stuff out pretty quickly, and there's nothing new going on, then my brain, my idea production tapers off to nothing. The other thing is that I have a tendency to sit and ideate for a very long time, especially these days when I'm getting fewer and fewer ideas. And so it takes me a while to build up a book, and then it all kind of flows, it just kind of bursts out. Writing for me is a lot like William Hurt in Alien. Right. It's just, it just goes.
Well, hopefully just like emotionally and mentally, not physically. We don't need to physically.
So what happens in the Council Wars is that the final battle occurs. So the next book is about a very steampunkish balloon and sailing ships and a few other things invasion of England, and then taking and holding England and building up forces in England and then invading Europe. So it's essentially a semi, fantasy magic technology assault that's just ETO, with the final battle being in the Bavarian Alps, and the good guys win. The problem is that they can't reset Mother, and the whole thing was a setup for a big fat fantasy universe that was semi D&D-ish, that takes place 2,000 years in the future of the books, when the original coder for Mother gets pulled forward in time by Mother because Mother is breaking, and she needs to be reset.
I know I'm distracting you with my felines.
Live Free or Die series, the Troy series there's an anthology coming out, and we're going to probably anthologize a few. And book 4, there's a novelette in it, which is also found in my Substack, which I've rewritten like 4 or 5 times and even the novelette that's currently published is not going to be the final book, because the timing doesn't work on it. But there's like 45,000 words written of book 4, and a conclusion would take 23 books.
Hey, John, they want 23 books.
Oh, I would love to do 23 books in that universe. Again, it's a wonderful sandbox universe. But like I'm even having a hard time writing the scene where they finally take down the Horvath.
So do you feel like you'd want to do 23 books, but you don't think you could keep it going that long?
No.
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of writer. I'm just not.
Yeah.
And
it's good to know our limits,
my brain has gone scrolled off into 3 other universes again. My brain will not stay on track of one thing. I mean, I have tried and tried and tried. I sit there and I go, all we got to do is we do one scene in the Troy universe. You even kind of know what the scene looks like. Just right? And I write it, like I'll write 5 pages of it and I'll look at it and I'll go, it's boiled rice without salt. It's not John Ringo. It's just, it might as well be AI,
Yeah.
And it's not what people are looking for.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. Do
so
you
I
ever
just,
use
I
anything
go,
to help? Do you ever use anything to help with like atmospheric, like mood setting stuff? Like I use music often. I have certain music that I have associated with certain books that I'm writing. When I put on that music, it helps get my brain into that brain space. Do you ever use stuff like that?
Well, yes, absolutely. The theme song for the Black Tide universe, especially the theme song for it, is Night Witch's Last Rite of the Day.
Yeah,
that's why I used to put
sometimes.
whole playlists into books.
Yeah.
I've got playlists for certain scenes, but that's about it. But I think we'll probably end up having at least a book 4.
And that's for the Aldena, the Live Free or Die series?
Yeah, the Live Free or Die series.
Yeah.
It's like I'm supposed to do 2 more books in LLHP.
Oh, one of my other series. Yeah. Have you said what you wanted to say about the Live Free or Die, and I can answer the next question?
Yeah, I think so. That's
okay.
There's an anthology coming out.
Yeah, and that's really cool. Do you have any idea what the timeline is for that, as far as when they hope to release it?
Me? Knowing when one of my books comes out?
Yes, I'm sorry, John, I forgot. Far be it from you to know when any of your books are coming out. By the way, next Tuesday, our book is coming out. Please post on Substack about it. Okay?
Right. Yep.
Please? Can you do that for me?
Yep.
All right.
Anyway.
Good to go. So Teresa was asking about the Love, Lies, and Hocus Pocus universe, which is, for anyone who hasn't read it, is my urban fantasy universe that currently book 9 is on pre-order. I have 12 books planned for the whole series. And as far as the now, John, the longest series you've done has been that you yourself wrote has been what, 4 books? No, because 4 books is Black Tide Rising. Have you done any series longer than that? That was your books? Postline?
Yeah.
And how many was that? 6? I'm trying to remember.
5.
Okay.
I think that I wrote by myself, no co-authors.
Yeah. So I mean, for Teresa, like John and I obviously are in 2 kind of different universes of the publishing world, with him being all trad published and me being mostly indie published. And so I guess, and obviously we're different writers, and so we like and prefer doing different things. But for indie authors, at least, who have less capital to spend money on like advertising campaigns, it's usually better or easier for an indie author to start a series, and if it does well and has a lot of interest, to make sure that series is long and it has lots of books in it, because you get good read through on that. And I always plan.
It's the same way with anything.
That's true. But I feel like the traditional publishing industry can handle doing more shorter series better than indies. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean it's different for every author.
You ever watch the TV show Castle?
Yeah, well, part of it. I've watched the first season or 2.
There's he'd have poker with other detective kind of authors, and they were the actual authors. I can't remember who their names were, but there would be these scenes where they're playing poker, and the other 2 guys that he's playing poker with are actual authors, real ones. And he's decided that he's going to kill off Dick Storm, right? Which, all of his books are about this character, Rick Storm or Dick Storm or whatever it was. And it's like, man, I can't believe you're going to kill him off. I mean, turned out one year, and the guy's talking about his actual, this one guy is talking about his actual series. He goes, turned out one of these things a year is what paid for my jet. If I had turned out, if I was any good with money and hadn't screwed it up, and I had turned out 1 ghost book a year, I would own a freaking island. Okay. So if you have a series that is selling well and the sales are going up, absolutely, 100%, turn out that next book, turn out another one, turn out another one, turn out another one. God, I wish I could.
Yeah.
Okay. As simple as that. I wish to God, I wish I was still writing the post-Celine universe.
Yeah.
Okay. And had never gone to any of the other universes because it had been continuously building.
Mm-hmm.
If I had taken
Yeah.
any of these universes that are super popular and continuously built, especially the Ghost universe,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be living on, and
Yeah.
I'd be living on Maui,
Yeah.
right?
Well, we all have different brains, and the more I write, the more I come to realize how incredibly unique every creator's brain is. Because, like, even just me and my husband, he's working on writing a book right now. Finally, after like a decade of telling me he was going to write a book, now he's finally actually writing a book. Just we work so differently. I have to keep my hands far away from him because just watching was like, I want to, like, no, that's not the way you do it. Like, it's his way, it's not your way. So, we all think in different ways. I'm an extremely linear thinker, and I am a very like hyper focus sort of person. So it works for me to do a long series that I can plan out beforehand and plan a whole bit long. I mean, I sent you outlines for the books that we wrote together, and I don't know what you thought of those, but they were outlines.
I read them.
Yeah, you did.
Miriam has had this idea that she wants to do for a while. And honestly, I know, everybody's like, oh, AI is the end of the world. Honestly, what she's talking about, I'm going to, at some point, once she has all of her stuff as together as anything ever is, I'm going to say, what you need to do is you need to sit down and just do AI prompts on it, right? Scene by scene, and do it as video, because everything that she's talked to me about, fascinating. But she wants to do I've got a great idea and you write it with her husband.
David tries to do that with me. He tries to slough ideas off on me. He's like, you should write this. I'm like, no, you can write it. Go on, go write it. Yep, I get that.
Yeah. But she comes into the kitchen. I'm getting a cup of coffee. She comes into the kitchen and she goes, names are hard. Your job is tougher than I thought it was.
Yeah.
No shit, Sherlock.
No shit.
Names are hard.
That's so funny.
And the thing about it is, it's not like she can just, get a whole bunch of people to volunteer to be red shirts. It's like names of planets, and they have to all be associated with Egyptian gods or something. I don't know. But
yeah, the John Ringo red shirt list, I love that idea. I'd not heard of that before. I saw it done by a couple Bane authors, you mostly, John, just going online and being like, all right, I need a red shirt, start throwing names at me. That's a lot of fun.
The problem was that the link that I had for it would only show me one particular section of the red shirt list, and I could never get to the end of the red shirt list to the newest ones and then go back up. Yeah. So I was always getting the same names. Yeah. And it's purely that I don't Facebook very well. Yeah. It's as simple as that. It's like it's in there someplace. I know I'll find it. But
yep. I'm going to go back to a couple of questions a little bit earlier.
World building advice.
Yeah. So Grand Old Podcast says, do you guys have any world building advice for an aspiring author? John, what do you think?
Honestly, do you have a Dungeons and Dragons manual?
Yeah. Good place to start. Play Dungeons and Dragons. Like, that's a great way to start learning.
This is God's honest truth. All right. Back in the old days, when you were talking about the Empire of Man stories, okay, the Empire of Man stories. David gave me what he called a tech Bible and an outline for a book, and this is the chapter 6 story for those of you who have already heard it. And so it gives me this outline, and it goes, the first part of March Up Country, where you get to the planet, is fairly detailed out. Not scene by scene, but it's fairly detailed out. And then it goes chapter 6 to 19. They land on the planet. They have to cross the planet to the spaceport. There are lots of city-states and probably an alien invasion or a barbarian invasion. John, this is your specialty. You figure it out. Now, that was supposed to be chapters 6 to 19 of March Up Country.
No. That's not the way it happens.
That ended up being the rest of March Up Country, all of March to the Sea, and 2/3 of March to the Stars. So I have gotten them down off of the plateau. I have gotten them through the first city-state, and I am stuck. I am so stuck beyond stuck. And this is my big chance. This is my big shot. This is my chance at the big time. And I'm literally lying on the floor of my trailer, because we lived in a trailer in the country back then, holding onto my hair and rolling back and forth and going, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Because I'm just utterly panicked. And I'm in my office, which was the spare bedroom. And I'm looking around, looking for any inspiration. I'm doing the whole thing about turning yourself upside down, right? And looking at anything. And I see my Dungeon Master's Guide, edition 1, original. And I go over and I pull it down, and I turn to the random terrain section. And I go, well, I have to put a modifier on the dice, because this is a jungle planet. So there's not going to be desert here or plains or any of that stuff. And I roll the dice and I go, okay, jungle. That doesn't give me much. Jungle, river, swamp. That's where the Mohinga came from. Mm-hmm. Okay. The planet
That's a great
itself,
part of the book. I love it so much.
The planet itself is actually just Earth in the Cretaceous, which I put in like PowerPoint back when I used to use PowerPoint, and twisted it around. So if you look at a map of Earth in the Cretaceous, and you look at the map of Marduk, you can figure out where stuff is. Mm-hmm. That, from a world building perspective, I don't really do very good world building. So I don't really, I don't really have James, to answer the one at the top right now. James Patterson was one of them. And so I don't have good world building suggestions. I either put stuff on Earth. In case you hadn't noticed, I put a lot of stuff on Earth. And if I have to build a world, I just kind of wing it, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, people love your book, so you must wing it pretty well. There was another question a little bit back. Oh, Angela Thomas said, do you think that Transdimensional Hunter series could be a movie? Absolutely. We just need a studio to sign on.
Yeah. Good luck on that one.
Yeah, I know.
I've been shooting for that for forever.
It would. I think it's a story that is very ripe for adaptation to film because of the augmented reality aspect.
I actually did a scene from the Troy series. Using Grok Imagine. And I really want to get it right. I can't get editing Grok Imagine is like impossible. But I really want to get it right, because I think if I did that and then I posted it on like X or on the Substack or whatever, people would be like, ee. But I'm not real good at doing that, because I'm not good at doing the correct AI prompts. Yeah. I don't understand enough about
David
how
does
that works.
I mean, if you ever want to ask David about it, so David uses ChatGPT and Claude all the time for our ads, because he runs all the ads that we do on Facebook. And so he's constantly working with them to do all of our advertising. So, I mean, if you ever have any questions about it, and I don't know if he does any video editing or anything like that, but he definitely does a lot with prompts. So, if you ever want to ask him, I can shoot you his email. I'm sure he'd be happy to chat. Let's see here.
Somebody answered the question that's at the top right now, which is that the two people who we play with that were actual writers, actual authors, were James Patterson and Cannell.
Oh, okay. There we go. Oh, Mom. Here's my mom. Hi, Mom. Asks.
Oh, is that your mom?
Hi,
Mom.
That is my mom. She wants me to answer the world building question too. So with world building, I usually start with what are my goals. I mean, honestly, that's what I start with all of my writing is what are my goals for this story. And there goes Luna. She wants me to pet her, but she does not want to be on my lap. What are my goals for the story? And so, you got to think about it. What's the genre that you're writing? Are you writing something that's more feel good? Are you writing something that's more like thriller? So, for instance, with John's example with the Mohinga and all that, like that series is serious science fiction. There should be really great obstacles that people have to go through, really strange, fantastical, and like dangerous flora and fauna. Large areas of land that they have to travel through, interesting cultures. But the Lily Singer Adventures, for instance, is urban fantasy. So I'm looking at a real world atmosphere. And when you're on the real world, you're looking at different realms, maybe. So I have the Fae realm, and you're also looking at like historical, like almost alternate history, what's something behind the scenes where you can take a piece of history and twist it. And so I just start by looking at what are my goals? How complicated do I want it to be? What kind of setting do I want? And then from there, I think about what I enjoy most, what I enjoy reading, because I know that I'm going to write best the things that I enjoy most. So I think about what interests I have. The reason the Lily Singer Adventures, the magic system is based off of ancient Mesopotamian lore and cuneiform is because I was obsessed with that in high school. And, I love like hieroglyphs, and I love like Norse mythology and, the Roman gods and everything. I love those too, but that's been overdone in fiction. And I felt like ancient Mesopotamian lore was something that was underserved, and it was something I was really interested in. And so I leaned into that. So I think a lot of it's going to just depend on your goals. It's going to depend on your interests. And then I think dig in from there and just start like John does, iterating and see kind of see what comes out. So hope that answers. Let's hear. Oh, no one has ever claimed authorship of the Castle books. Ha 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 ha.
I didn't get much. They were like $5,000 a piece.
No offense, John, but I'm skeptical based on your writing track record. So we are coming up on an hour and a half of the live stream. John's been on for about 45 minutes. I'm happy to stay on for another 15 to make it a full hour for John. And I've got a couple more questions that I can ask John. But if anyone else has any final questions for John, be sure to throw them into the comments so we can make sure to get to them. And in the meantime, John, what is your favorite gun and why?
HK-USP 45.
Okay. And why is that?
I've shot a Glock. I do not have good trigger control with Glocks. I just really like the HK. The USP just really works very well for me from the point of view of pistol. Yeah. From the point of view of a shotgun, I haven't shot them enough that I can really say. Yeah. From the point of view of a subgun, MP5 with an adjustable, with an adjustable, because the MP5 with the stock, just the regular stock, is just the wrong length for me, and I can't get a really good point with it. And from the point of view of rifle, I'm not as much of, I don't hit 5.56 as much as most people think, but I also don't actually like Colt. That is an old fashioned thing with me because I hated the M16 when I used it. I just really hated the M16. Yeah. My problems with 1911 is I have two problems with 1911. The first problem that I have with 1911 is, again, experiential, because I dealt with 1911s in the 1980s that went all the way back to World War II, and they had a minute of angle in the meters, right? We would joke that in the event that we actually had to use them in combat, that we might as well throw them rather than fire them. They were so inaccurate. I mean, literally, the barrels would like wiggle back and forth, right? Yeah. And when you fired them, you're firing at a 25-meter target, and it's on a bench, and it's hitting like this shoulder and that shoulder of the target. when you fire it at 25 meters. That was its minute of angle, and so that's my experience of 45. And so I prefer. A lot of people hate HK because it's really bad customer service, but I haven't had problems with them. So I really like the 416 for like a battle rifle. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So really quick before I forget it, because I want to make sure I mention this. By the way, people, for anybody who's not aware, the Dragon Con Awards are the biggest, most well-known, and really the only big fan awards for books, as opposed to like a panel of like elites deciding which book wins. It's fan votes, and Dragon Con happens every year on Labor Day. David and I are going. John has gone many years in the past. You've gotten Dragon Awards, right? I know you've got nominations. Have you gotten an actual Dragon Award?
I got one for a minute, MHI.
Yeah,
so I haven't got one for mine. For me.
So
favorite mortar, 120.
So the Dragon Awards nominations are open. I actually went and tried to find the link, and unfortunately the link is broken for the nominations right now, but the link for signing up, registering to vote is there. If you've never voted in the Dragon Awards, you do have to register to vote. Excuse me. So I'm just going to paste that link in there if people want to go and just sign up to vote and also to nominate. Most nominations are going to happen in like the spring and early summer. But I just wanted to mention, guys, both the third and fourth book of the TD Hunter series are eligible to be nominated, but please do not nominate the third book. Just nominate the last book, because if you nominate both or one or the other, and then we get like that division on the nominations, it's not going to make it because we won't have enough nominations. So only the last book, Beyond the Rift, which comes out January 3rd, please only nominate that one, and it fits into the YA category because the protagonist is YA. It's about young people. So if you're going to nominate, and please do, we really appreciate it. It would be super cool if it got a Dragon Award.
Hang on a second. Give them a name of the book.
Yes, Beyond the Rift. Please nominate Beyond the Rift.
Beyond the Rift in YA. Nominate Beyond the Rift in YA. Nominate Beyond the Rift in YA. Nominate Beyond the Rift in YA.
Yes.
Nominate Beyond the Rift in YA. That's all you had. That's what you need to say. All the rest of it was confusing. Okay.
Thank you, John, for cutting through the
of a BTR book 10 to 20 years after, probably not. And the reason is I just don't really have any ideas about that. It'd be like, it would just be it would be a 28 years later, and I'm not really interested. How are the trees? Is that for
that's for me. So there's a sewer line that's supposed to be built through my yard, and the government came in and took an easement. There's not much I can do about it. They paid us for it, underpaid in my opinion, but then the government always does. They were supposed to start that project in August, and it would have gotten to my yard around March or April. They have not even started that project. There is a big property behind me who a significant amount of his property would be tore up by it. And I believe he is holding it up and is fighting it in court. And I don't know if it's like he's trying to stop the project, which really is not a good thing because the sewer really needs to be revamped. Like, it's not good. Like, it could overflow into our yard if we get heavy enough rain. So it really needs to be redone. It's just where the pipeline goes and whose trees get cut down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know how that's going. I do know that they haven't started it yet, which means that my trees are probably going to be around for the spring, maybe the summer. We'll see. But there is a federal mandate to have the project done, in theory, by 2027. So they better get a move on. And that's all I know. So I still have the trees for now. I hope to have them for a while longer, but they're eventually going to get cut down. So, and John, we're talking about like 6 large mature trees.
And if you would like to, we're not like pitching for it or anything. Just mention that you can nominate Beyond the Rift in the YA category for the Dragon Awards. It's just mentioned during our ask me anything.
Yes.
Ask me if there's anything that we can nominate for the Dragon Awards.
John, what can we nominate for the Dragon Awards? Please tell us.
I don't know. Beyond the Rift?
Beyond the Rift for the YA category.
Hang on a second. Did I have anything else come out this year?
Yes, you had Welcome to the Jungle, which would be not the YA. Would that be YA category? What is that?
No, it's not YA.
Okay.
I don't know. Is that YA? Shit, is
I
that
don't
YA?
think so. I think if you nominate it for the YA category, there'd be a lot of very scandalized mothers. That is not. It is not YA friendly or appropriate.
Yeah, and you can also nominate Welcome to the Jungle.
Mm-hmm. For
Not
like science
YA.
fiction, would that be science fiction?
I don't know. They have a separate superhero category.
I don't think they have a superhero one though. No. Let me check though. I can look. Dragon
Ghost
Con.
was when Ghost was nominated for best romance. I thought that was
Oh my gosh! It was nominated for
no,
best romance.
It won best romance of the year in 2005.
Was that Dragon Con or was it a different award?
No, it was Predators and Editors.
Okay.
It was actually a fairly major award at the time.
Okay.
And here's the thing. When it got nominated, I went, okay, this is hysterical. Okay. And then it was winning. And I went, wait, hang on a second. So I went in, and because like the other books, they had at least samples of them because that was back when, indie publishing was tiny.
Yeah.
But most of them were indie. And I looked at them and I went, oh, because I consider Ghost to be one of my worst written books. And it was fucking Faulkner compared to these other ones. I mean, it was so much better than its competitors.
Yeah.
And, so yeah, it like the only major award I've ever won for my own writing was, in my opinion, one of my worst written books.
That's really funny. Because, I mean, was that a fan award?
To me. Huh?
Was that one a fan award, the romance one?
So
were fans voting on it, or was there a panel?
It was a fan award.
That's very interesting. Yeah. So, I was about to say, for Dragon Con, you'd probably want to nominate Welcome to the Jungle for Best Fantasy Novel because it says including paranormal, and it's kind of in the paranormal category, like in the superhero, like magic science combined. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't actually know what that universe is. I mean, it's such a mash universe.
Yeah, it is.
It's not science fiction. It's Anyway.
Yeah. Yes, they're better romances than Twilight. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I don't think there's
any major. Let's go with one last question. Anybody got something?
If they don't, I have one more question I can ask you.
Okay.
How did you get started writing, and why did you do it? Like, where were you in life when you started writing?
I have been writing on and off bits and pieces since I was a kid. My mom always said that I would be an author, and I thought that was hysterical because I never finished any of my projects.
Yeah.
And I started writing him before. Well, I wrote what I thought of as a novel, which was in the future of the Council Wars universe. And it was god awful, and it will never see the light of day. And then I started writing him before battle, which I'd written like various sorts of things with the general idea for a while. And I got stuck on it. And that was back when my dad was alive. And he was literally the only person I knew who read any of the same sort of stuff that I did. And I gave that partial rough draft to him that ended when Mike was stuck under the mega scraper.
Yeah.
And he, being an engineer, said he needs to tunnel his way out sideways. And I went, okay. And that got me started again. And he died before I finished it.
Wow. Was that in like the 1990s?
That was in the 1990s.
Yeah.
And so I finished it and I submitted it to Bain.
Did you know Jim Bain by that point, or was it like totally fresh? You didn't know anybody, you just submitted it.
And I'm getting into that. I submitted it on paper to Bain, and I got thrown off there for just a second. I submitted it to Bain, and then I was on their website and I found this thing called Bain's Bar, which was a forum where people would post state stuff and then you could reply to it. And I had never seen one of those before because, for all practical purposes, there weren't any. Bain's Bar was the first. or very, very close to the first. And being the shy and retiring person that I was, I didn't post anything. I just lurked. Yeah, right. By like the second month, I was in the top 3 posters, and so was Jim Bain.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, we were having a discussion about the aquatic ape theory. And Jim was a proponent, and I said, well, I think you're crazy, but I have to be nice to you because I've got a book on your slush pile. And he said, Marla, find me this manuscript. And I thought,
wait, has Marla been with you guys that long?
Oh yeah, Marla's been with Bain since Bain started.
Wow.
Marla literally came over with Jim from Tor Books.
Wow.
Because Jim was Tor.
Yeah.
And so a week later, I got my rejection notice. And I understood Jim from online well enough by then that because we've been back and forth a lot, that if he had seen it, that he would have sent some sort of a personal comment. So it was first reader, and by then I understood, and he had said, you can resubmit a book because nobody will notice.
Yeah.
So a week later, I got the first email I'd ever gotten from him. He said, no one can find your manuscript. Send it to me.
Yeah.
And he had also talked about he wanted series. So I sent him Impulse Battle and as much of Gust Front as I had finished.
Mm-hmm.
And so he got like a week, the next week, I got 19 emails of him going over him before battle and telling me what I was doing wrong. Like it was the classic, you don't get this. Okay. It was a guy with 30 years experience editing, line editing your book. And then he got to the original ending, which is not the ending you guys have seen. And he hated it so much. He was just like, this proves to me that you're the most terrible author in the world. And I'm like, oh God. But he comes back and he emails me and he says, if you change it the way that I've told you to, I'll buy it.
Nice.
So I went through and I edited the shit out of it. Nice. And he did. He bought it. Right.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, I sold the book.
Yay.
So that was in April of 1998. It didn't come out till 2000.
Yeah.
Okay. But in August, because I'd sent him Before Battle and as much as I had finished of Gust Front.
Mm-hmm.
And in August, I get this email at 8:00 at night. Your novel Gust Front ends in media res, period. You have 10 minutes, period. Which is, and it'd been like 20 minutes, since the email came in. And I'm like, oh shit. I had sent him what I had done of Gust Front. And it stopped in the middle of a battle, in the middle of a sentence.
Oh no.
In a prepositional phrase, the last word was of. I had.
Jim was not pleased.
Jim wanted the rest of the story.
Yep.
So fortunately, I finished it by then, and I sent him the whole thing.
Yep.
And he sent me a week later. He said, this needs extensive editing. I am sending you a contract. Like
nice.
The next week, it wasn't even the next week. It was like 3 days later. This needs extensive editing. I am sending you a contract.
Jim knew what he wanted, right? He knew what he wanted. I regret that I never got a chance to meet him. I mean, he passed in 2011, 2007. Jim? Yeah, Jim. When did he pass?
I don't remember exactly when he died.
Yeah, I think it was at least 10 years ago, if not 15 years ago. I don't remember exactly. Ginger Princess Log says nomination set. So guys, you're nominating Beyond the Rift in the YA category. And if you want to do Welcome to the Jungle, I think probably, I don't know, fantasy, science fiction?
Science fiction.
Okay, science fiction. So Welcome to the Jungle would be science fiction.
Welcome to the Jungle.
Okay. Right. Sounds good.
Any characters surprise you in the TDH series, or she doesn't allow characters to surprise her very much?
Because I'm a planner, John. I'm a planner.
She's a planner, and she's kind of relentless. Black Tide Rising was not supposed to be about Faith and Sophia. It was supposed to be about Steve Smith and Stacy, and it became all about Faith and Sophia.
Now they're their daughters, right?
Huh? Yeah, those are the daughters.
The daughters, okay. So it's supposed to be about the parents, but it ended up being about the daughters.
Yeah. Faith's character taking over the book to the extent that it did was just like, okay,
but people
it's
love
about
Trixie.
Faith and Sophia now. It's not the story I was planning, but
people love Trixie, so there you go.
So TBH, not so much, because Lydia is a very on-track person that way.
Which we needed to get the series done.
Yeah. Any newer upcoming authors you recommend? I don't read anymore for two reasons. One of them is I need to get new glasses. My eyesight's actually really bad. So I don't read per se anything very much anymore, which I miss. The other reason that I don't read science fictional type stuff is because I found myself accidentally plagiarizing when I did a lot of it. So these days I read mostly nonfiction, and I can recommend the Ghost Mountain Boys as excellent nonfiction, and Pacific Crucible as excellent nonfiction.
Yeah, and for me, I've really been enjoying a up-and-coming author, Melissa Olthoff at Published Through Baen Books. Her Rise from Ruin series about a griffin and a dragon rider have been a lot of fun. I just love the aerial combat and like the bond between the riders and the animals and the humor. The griffin is very sassy. I'm all about sassy, snarky stuff. So definitely check out Melissa Olthoff's Rise from Ruin. And if you follow Baen on social media at all, or like if you're on their newsletter, there's a lot of really great Baen books that you can also nominate for Dragon Awards if you ever read those and get into them. Obviously, we really appreciate that. Mostly the Dragon Awards tend to go to big publishers because they have whole teams of people that they set up to, like, I don't know. I don't even know what it is. Like there's a whole conspiracy theory about the Dragon Awards and how they're, I don't know. It's a conspiracy theory. I don't know. I don't know what's really true. But
what's the conspiracy theory?
Oh, just about how even if you get enough nominations, like if you're not on like the approved list of what the people who control the Dragon Awards want to see on the ballot, you won't get in. And that's not just for the books, but for games and stuff too. And again, it's kind of like you kind of hear stuff through back channels and you don't really know what to believe and what's just gossip. So I don't want to say too much about it because I think the awards are great and I think they're great that they happen. And I think they're great that, we support them and nominate books and vote for them and everything. I vote for them, vote in them every year. Like last year, Matt Dinneman got an award for some of his Dungeon Crawl stuff, which is really cool. And, there's been lots of David Weber stuff and Timothy Zahn stuff. And so I think it's a really great fan award. It's like really the only big major fan award left that's really functioning well. So definitely go nominate Beyond the Rift in the YA category. John, any last words? Jonathan Choi, assigning a lane between sci-fi and fantasy with the centrality of the Vishnu aspects is interesting. I'm not sure what that's about. Is that about?
That's not the kind of good guy.
Not that kind of good guy. Yeah, I figured. So.
Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that universe is a mashup of, oh God, it's Shadowrun crossed with superheroes, crossed with like street.
Yeah, street justice.
It's like street stories crossed with plots and cyberpunk, and it's just such a mashup.
Yeah, it is. But science fiction is a big mashup of stuff. Anyway,
if you're talking about the Dragon Awards, one of the things with the Dragon Awards is, first of all, I know everybody who would be involved in choosing the awards, and they're all people that don't like people putting their thumb on the scale. The guy who ran DragonCon for a very, very long time is named Patrick Henry, and if you can imagine somebody who lives up to the name Patrick Henry. It took me a long time to actually kind of hang on. Oh, Patrick Henry, Jesus. That's his actual name. The guy is a farmer. He gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day, which is why he goes to bed early at Dragon Con. He also runs a comic book shop. And he's a really, really straight up businessman guy. We went to a pirate themed wedding, and he had come from that he was also attending, and he had come from a Lions Club meeting. He's also, a member of the Atlanta Chamber of Commerce. But he went to this pirate themed wedding, and he shows up in a dress shirt, dress slacks, nice shoes, with an eye patch, and it wasn't a hat. He had like an eye patch and something, and he was and a big gold hoop earring that was like a clip-on gold hoop earring. He was a corporate pirate.
Yeah. That's funny.
No, it's not pay to win.
It really is a fan award. I mean, I think they do a pretty good job.
Very much a fan award. If there was anything like a thumb on the scale, it would be that they would like Ghost would not be allowed to be nominated if Patrick had anything to do with it. That's the best way I could phrase it. But the funniest pirate one was at the Dragon Con Pirates Ball. 3 black guys showed up. 2 of them they were wearing ratty t-shirts and had like ratty pants on with holes in them and all ragged down the bottom. 2 of them were carrying AKs, and one of them was carrying an RPG. And all these guys in like traditional pirate, and the pirate wenches and everything kind of stopped and looked and went, "Oh my God, dude, that is awesome." Because they were Somali pirates.
Yep, Somali pirates. Nice. That's too funny. All right, well, I am going to have to end this here because I am getting exhausted. You didn't hear John, but I have the stomach bug. I was pretty out of it this morning, but managed to rally myself to still come out. I've got my saltines over here and been sipping on my Gatorade, so
Miriam's
I need
got
to.
the same thing. So,
huh? Miriam's got the same thing. Yeah, I've heard
gotten
cases. Yeah, hopefully you don't, because we have a book signing next Saturday.
Okay.
You better show up on time.
Absolutely.
3 p.m., John. 3 p.m.
I will be there. 3
to 7 p.m. 3 to 7 p.m. Yes. And John, I told everybody, because you were late, I'm going to make you sign 400 books.
I've signed literally 3,000 books in one sitting.
Nice. All right. Well, then 400 will be no problem for you. I have 100 copies. Yeah.
As long as you're prepped.
Yes, I have 100 copies of each of the hardbacks, and so a lot of people are asking for signed copies who can't come to the. I have a couple of people who are flying in from like California, but a lot of people, across the whole United States can't come to the signing. So yeah, they'll be hoping for some signed copies that they can grab on my website later. So anyway, we will see some of you in person in a week at Rev Coffee and Books. It's just north of Chattanooga. It's about 15 minutes north of downtown Chattanooga. I don't remember the name of the little town, but it starts with an H. But it's at Rev Coffee and Books. You click on the little link on the Facebook event. Yeah. Hickson. It's in Hickson, Tennessee. And it's a cute little coffee shop
of Chattanooga.
Yeah, suburb. It's a cute little coffee shop. We'll be ready to go at 3, and I'll have snacks and like sodas and water and stuff. And we'll do some readings, and we'll hang out, and we'll probably do some trivia stuff. And it'll really just be an opportunity for people to talk to us. And John, do you ever still do readings anymore?
I usually do one at LibertyCon.
At LibertyCon, okay. Okay. So if I asked you to do a reading from T.D. Hunter, is there a particular book or place that you'd want to read from?
My voice gives out quicker than it used to, because I don't talk a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I sit down here and I don't talk like at all.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm just sitting here in front of my computer going, okay, God damn it. Can I please try to get this story back on track? I do not need a new main character.
Mm-hmm. Of course you need a new main character, John. Alrighty, well, we'll see you all next week. Don't forget to pre-order the books. Don't forget to nominate Beyond the Rift in the YA category. And Welcome to the Jungle in the science fiction category for the Dragon Awards. And we will see some of you next Saturday. Thanks so much, John. It's been really fun. Thank you for doing this. And I thank you all for watching and listening. And we will see you on Saturday.